up here. I just got back from my test ride in a Performance Model 3, and I just figured we could talk about it. I'm going to pull up the comments on my computadora aquí. And so if you guys have questions, hit me up, let me know. Hopefully the audio is okay. It was pretty wild. So let me just make sure I'm all set up here. Okay, look, you can see me okay. Oh, I need to do it in a different window. Okay, one second, guys. I'll pull up the questions here. All right, to recap where we're at. Just drove a Model 3 Performance that has, it was red with the white interior, had the full package there. Hello from Germany. Hello, Stuart. Hello, Scott. Breakbox. MT Geekman. Oyen Llewellyn. How are you guys doing? Wyatt, what's up? Here, how about this? I'll put the laptop down there so I'm not looking off to the side. Okay, so I drove the Model 3 Performance Edition, and it's fast. It's very fast. I don't know. I was just talking to my buddy too. He was in the car and he got to drive it as well. It's certainly not as fast as a Model S P100D. It seems to handle turns better, which I think we already knew, just because of the design of the car seems to be better for handling and those things like that. Then you have, and so Jenny was in the car as well. She's not as much of a fan. So I did talk to her, and we worked out the numbers where we could actually buy one. So that's kind of the question I'm thinking of right now, is whether or not we should actually buy it. But yeah, so I took it, I don't know, I drove maybe 10 miles or something like that. Definitely got the 0 to 60, 0 to 80, like really had some fun with that. And it really has a punch, a much stronger punch than my rear wheel drive Model 3 that I have right now. Now, compared to a P100D Model S, though, it's definitely not as fast. And off the line, it's hard to tell the difference. Maybe if I got to drive them, one right after another. But in a Model S P100D, like, you're gonna have that 85 to 100 mile per hour still pulling. And in this one, it definitely around 65, 70, it just started to drop off. Which, is fine for most cases. But that's really the question, right? If you're buying a performance vehicle, this isn't just your going to get groceries vehicle. This is a performance vehicle that, if you want to take it to the track, you can. I do think it would perform exceedingly well on a track, maybe better than the Model S, because even the most recent reports I've seen of the Model S didn't have great performance on the track. So, but on a straightaway, no, the Model S P100D is going to win. I did not, as you guys know, I don't like the white interior. However, the white where the wood grain is on the Model 3, the black interior, that piece was solid. It was like a soft plasticky feel, maybe a little bit better than that, maybe some type of ceramic or something with a nice coating. I don't know exactly what the material was, but it felt good. The thing I liked about it is that it was smooth, unlike the wood grain one, which it's porous. So I really would prefer to change the wood grain to a carbon fiber or a piano black or a satin, something like that. That would be great. But in the other one, it's a flat, solid thing. So you could wrap it, you could change it, you could do all kinds of things to it without any worry. Because right now, if you try to wrap it, the vinyl won't stick properly, and it just has issues. So there's that. So that was one bit I really, really liked about it. I like the carbon fiber spoiler. I like the brakes, the bigger brake calipers and the bigger rotors. One thing about that I didn't get a clear answer on, and I think I would love to have something different. But if you buy the performance package, which is not just the car, but this is like the add-on of all these other little features that give it that performance look, that's an additional $5,000. Now that includes $4,000 worth of wheels and tires, because you can already go buy those same wheels and tires from Tesla, and it's $4,000. And it's, I'm not saying it's not a good deal. I think it's a fine price for it. I don't like that style of wheel though. So I would get different wheels. I'd probably get the 20-inch turbines from EV Wheel Direct, and that would be like what I would go with. But I just paid $5,000, and now I have these wheels, which are 4 of the $5,000, and I don't want them. So I guess I could sell them is probably the way to think about it, because otherwise I can't get the new brake calipers or brake setup, or the carbon fiber spoiler aftermarket yet. So that's kind of the thing. You have to buy that and then get rid of the tires, to make up some of that cost. So I didn't like that. And it doesn't appear that in their current production anyways that it makes sense for them to do that. So the software on the car was much improved over mine. I assume it's just the latest one. I'm still running 2018.18.13. I had they pushed an update to me recently. I called my service center and I'm like, hey guys, it's been like a month or two. I haven't got an update. There's all these cool new features. Can you push the update? And they said, yeah, sure. Got the update and it failed. So now I actually have a service appointment next week to take my car in, because they couldn't fit, they looked at it and they're like, we're going to have to troubleshoot. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. So the software on the new one I just drove was great. The thing I was really blown away by was just how it noticed every car around me. It still didn't have any great blind spot detection or anything like that. That didn't appear to be improved, but the graphic of the cars going around was really great. I couldn't find track mode. I clicked in every setting. I couldn't see track mode. Maybe they disabled it for this one. That was just a prototype or something that other people had. And then other than that, it's funny because my car is lowered 1.5 inches, which I think is the right amount. It's a little bit too low maybe for my wife, but I feel it looks so good. And it does handle a little bit better when it's lowered, especially with these dual rate suspension that I got. So I got in the car, I felt like I was riding high or something. It felt crazy to me that how high it's at. And they said that it's lowered, or that it will be lowered in this one, but it definitely was not lowered. This was, my full 4 fingers could fit between the fairing, the fender and the wheel. So definitely was not lowered. I don't know if that's something that these ones haven't been done yet. Future ones have. Like, we'll take a look at that. And then the last question that I had for them, which I didn't get a clear answer on, but I'm curious what you guys think about this, is the question, okay, so will there be an upgrade to Ludicrous mode that requires hardware? Because if so, then that would be super lame, that you buy this performance car, the latest and greatest, fastest version you can get, and then a year from now you have to buy another more faster one. And if you guys recall, this happened, I believe, with the P85D, where the next maybe year after they came out with that, they came out with the P90D, and then with Ludicrous mode, I believe they offered a $5,000 upgrade, or it was like, they kind of made it so anybody that had bought their car within that past year could upgrade the hardware to get that without an exorbitant cost. So that was one thing that was lurking in my mind, and just knowing how Tesla operates, I know that if that did happen, that would be, they would be totally, I'm sure they would find a solution if they did do a hardware upgrade for the new Ludicrous version. So there you have it. Now, when I priced it out, it was $75,000. I was looking at the black, the Obsidian black, not the standard black. The one I drove was red. The red looks good. I think I really love the black car. Although I know my son would love it because he loves the movie Cars with Lightning McQueen. So he would love the red, but maybe we could just do that on a fun weekend trip or something like that. So those are my first thoughts, first impressions after driving it. Yeah, it's an extremely fast, great car. For that price, it's probably going to be hard to beat. The biggest kind of leftover for me is, does it make sense for me to get it for the channel here? And or is it that much of a difference from the one I have now? that it's worth getting, because it's a full what, 15 grand or 14,000 or something up from the one I got. So that's a really a really tough decision. So I'll have to kind of simmer on that one for a little bit. Okay, let me go and let's just answer some questions here. So I'm doing it on YouTube today, not on Crowdcast. This was pretty much unplanned, but now that we're here, go ahead and ask your questions in the chat. I think super chat's enabled if you want to make that I answer your question. I'll do that. So let's see. Wyatt says, just wait for your 2 roadsters. Yeah, I'll be. I feel like with how delayed everything is from the referral program, I'll be like in my midlife crisis by the time I get the roadster. So it'll probably be perfect timing. No dig on the referral team. Just they're backlogged and stuff. So yeah, let's see. How did it smell? It smelled like a new car. I don't know. These things are, I mean, they're doing so many test drives. So the one I went to here is in San Diego at the UTC Mall. They have 2 of them. You can maybe go to the store and you can ask to get a test drive if you're interested in one. And I don't know if you can book it online or not. I just went there. I had a kind of an awkward experience the first time I went, but just say yes, I'm interested, whatever, and maybe they should be able to get you in. Not probably then that day, but maybe within a couple days. So there you go. Blake asks, does the white dash create a significant glare? No, not at all. It had like a matte finish to it. Maybe more of a satin finish or something. I don't know. It wasn't super. It wasn't gloss. It wasn't a gloss finish. Hi from Mars. Hi. Regen feels stronger. Valmore? No, not really. Actually, no, it didn't at all. It felt to me. It felt just like my car. My rear-wheel drive Model 3. Did you hear about the hypermile records just set by the Model 3? Yeah, 2 of them, right? So my friends Sean and Eric did one. Yeah, over 600 miles. And then someone in Germany did one on a track autonomously. And that was also, I think they got more. I forget, but yeah, it's wild. So I was thinking, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. I was thinking about doing the drive. So Elon had said at the earnings call that you could go from San Francisco to LA on a single charge if you drove carefully. And the challenge is like you'd have to drive slowly. And so you can't drive really slowly on the freeway. And so that means you'd have to take the Pacific Coast Highway. Beautiful. Great. However, I think it's 388 miles where I mapped it out on the freeway. If you go from like which if you guys aren't familiar, the city of San Francisco is actually really small. So the Bay Area is really big, but if you're talking just the city of San Francisco, it's pretty small. So I think I mapped out like a Whole Foods or something like that with an EV charge port, and then go all the way down to like health food store at the very, very tippy tip of LA on the north end up by Ventura. And that was 388 miles. So if you were to, because you can't go on the freeway, you have to go over to the 1, and there's a closure on the 1 on the Pacific Coast Highway by Big Sur. It was like a landslide, and it's indefinitely closed, or until further notice. So that means that you have to go down there, then you have to get off and go around that, and then come back down, and it goes from 388 miles to like 488 miles. That would be really difficult. So I'm not sure if that's even possible. Yeah, so there's my thoughts on the hypermile. Sorry, thanks for the tangent. Andrew Allen asks, headliner material. Same as my current Model 3. It was not the Alcantara. Breakbox asks, was there an insane mode in the screen? No, there was chill and sport. And what do I have now? Is that what I have now? No, okay, so here under acceleration I have chill and standard. In that one, they had chill and sport. That was the difference. If bad weather, flood, Tesla Model 3 and X and S. I don't know. What's one thing you dislike about the Model 3? I don't like that there's not a heads-up display or a heads-up display or some kind of dashboard back there. that would be nice. And I've certainly gotten used to looking over at the screen for just for the autopilot and the speed and stuff, but the navigation stuff is still all the way on the right screen, and it's still that way in the latest firmware. That I think should change. I think that should come to the left side and maybe be integrated into the kind of left third of the screen there. So there you go. Are you able to turn traction control off? No, you are not. You can do slip start, which is kind of like that, but it's not like if you were doing a drag race and you didn't want traction control. You can't do that. You can't turn it off indefinitely there. Is there much difference better the braking itself? I didn't really. It felt pretty standard to me. I think you'll really only see the improvement in braking if you're doing stuff on a track. That I think is where that's why they have those performance brakes. I don't think you need them otherwise. In your typical just driving around, even if you're being a racer out on the streets, it still probably doesn't make a difference. I didn't notice it at all. Jeffrey asks, would you sell your current Model 3? Yeah, that was kind of the thing that we were thinking. I did the math on it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay off my Model S because the monthly payments are really high because I got such a short loan to get the better interest rate. And so that would be the better deal. And then I would get rid of my Model 3 and then get the new one is the thinking right now. So, are the door panels white or vegan white leather? They were, I think... Actually, that's a good question. I think they were white Alcantara. Okay, it looks like it's disconnected on my screen. Are you guys still seeing me? Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna just punch it around. Okay, it looks like you're still there. So it looks like the computer just froze. So I won't be able to answer questions for a minute here. Let me try to. I lost my connection. Let me try to reconnect. And until then, I'll go through the other questions that were already asked. Tez Latino, great name. Do you mind doing a quick 2-sentence summary of the test drive? It was fast, definitely had a strong punch in the beginning, much better and much faster than my current Model 3, but not nearly as good or as fast or much of a punch as the Model S P100D. So P100D still reigns supreme. I don't think that was a surprise, but that's like if I'm comparing top-end Model S to the top-end Model 3, yeah, the top-end Model S just still is a champion. So there you go. Tesla battery will shut off or throttle performance if it gets hot, both for charging. I don't know. What made you get your first Tesla? So this is from I Want a Tesla. So the first I was working remotely, or not remotely, I was working where I had to commute, and I had like a newer Honda Civic, fully loaded at the time, really comfortable, pretty nice. I mean, it was expensive for a Honda Civic, but it was really nice. It was a 2-door, and it was quick, and it was great. Then I started working from home, and I didn't need that car anymore. It was a lease, so I got rid of it. And then what I did is I got just a 1999 Toyota Tacoma, just an old beat up pickup truck. And with that, I loved it. I still have it. I love my old beat up pickup truck. I throw my surfboards on Wednesdays, and I go surf with with the old man crew down at Pacific Beach. It's great. Then I had a son, and I needed a car again. I was still working remotely, so I didn't need to like drive anywhere. So I didn't care about having a nice car. And I'd wanted to go electric for a while. I'd wanted an electric car. And so I started looking at cars. I looked at the Nissan Leaf at the time, and fully spec'd out Nissan Leaf was around $40,000, $44,000 or something like that. And I was ready to do it. I was ready to buy the first gen Nissan Leaf. And then what happened was I would remember that there was a model that Tesla had just recently announced the pre-owned program, the certified pre-owned options. And I thought, okay, $44,000 is like a lot to spend for a car. Let me see if maybe there's a a Tesla. I don't even know. I had always assumed that they were just wildly expensive. And so I looked, and there were some in like a very similar. It was like around $50,000 for a used Model S. And so I looked at the specs of the Nissan Leaf at the time, the first gen, fully spec'd out. versus a used Model S, and the Model S was just a far better deal. It was so much more car for what you got, and it was only, you know, a 5-6 grand more. So that's what I ended up doing. So I ended up buying that in January of 2016. And that's how I ended up getting my first Tesla. It was the safest car. It was super comfortable. It was good for taking my son around at the time. And, you know, we could charge it at home, which is fantastic. So I didn't waste time at gas stations. Better for the environment. I mean, overall, it was just a great thing. And because I bought it used, I got it for, you know, a far cry from the original sticker price. Oh, and it only had 10,000 miles. So I don't know how you buy a 2013 car and have it for 3 years and don't put more than 10,000 miles on it. But yeah, so you know, that's kind of the backstory about however I first got one. So there you go. All right, I'm back online here. Robert Dangle asks, fit and finish. It looked beautiful. I did check all the panel gaps and looked all the way around it. I do have some photos that I posted yesterday. Maybe I'll put a link to it after this video is done. And it was fantastic. Just beautiful, beautiful quality. I looked all over the car. Yeah, it was great. Yep. Is the Model X worth the price tag SUV? So from Black Redneck, that's a great handle. So yeah, the Model X I love. The problem I have with the Model X is the falcon wing doors. One, because they're so prone to error, but two, because in my garage at my house they can't even open a quarter. My son, my 3-year-old son, couldn't even fit in and out of them in the garage, and that sucks. I can't imagine ordering a vehicle that is like so not functional for my house. So that's why I don't have a Model X. But I think it's an amazing vehicle, and if you were to compare it, maybe I'll do another one of these videos where I do the comparisons, the cost analysis. But if you were to look at Model X versus, say, a Range Rover, which I know I did this, it is a far cry cheaper. And then if you use it for business, you can write it off with the new tax laws. You can write off 100% of the cost in the first year. So there's a huge incentive for the Model X. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I just wish they had regular doors. Maybe the Model Y will be the winner for me. So there you go. All right, next question. Mark asks, does Jenny still have that Model X? Yeah, she does. That's the thing. She does because but the problem is the falcon wing doors. That's why we're not going to do it. So yeah, maybe the Model Y. SK to snow, wind/road noise improved. I didn't notice a difference. I think they're both fantastic. I actually want to do a video on that because I hear this a lot where people talk about wind and road noise, and I think my hunch, and this is where we have to look at the data and figure it out. My hunch is that because you don't have an engine or a transmission or any of the other things that generally make noise, maybe it appears to people that are new to Teslas that there is a added, like it's more noticeable, the wind noise and the road noise. But overall, my perception is that it's a really, really quiet vehicle. So yeah, I'll maybe do a test on that, but I didn't notice any difference compared to my car, but I don't really notice it at all in my car anyways. So I don't know why people are complaining about that so much. Joel asks, hello from Bourget, Ontario, Canada, I think. I'm thinking of financing 3-year-old off-lease Leaf. Is that a good cheap option? I don't know. I would do a new next-gen Leaf. I wouldn't do the first-gen, unless it's just like a little putz-around car inside of an urban area. I don't know where your town is. So there you go. Did the suspension feel stiff? It felt bad. I did not like it. So the suspension. So first off, the suspension on all. It's fine. It's fine. My suspension, I have dual rate suspension, which you guys can go check out that video. I actually measured the vibrations and stuff like that. When I'm just cruising down the road, because I have this dual rate suspension, it is really soft and just really smooth. And it's a dual rate, which means when I take corners, it does it at an even tighter and better to like stiffer ratio than the other one. My perception of this car was that suspension was far worse than what I have. And it probably is just the normal suspension. It was the same height, all the other same stuff. So there you go. Hey, thanks Trina Ari. Thanks for the $1.99. I really want a Model 3, but I just got a BMW 330i. Hey, I don't know what to tell you. The BMW 330i is probably a great car. BMW, I think, makes. I mean, I never had one. My buddy had one. I was always jealous of him years and years ago. I think BMW makes great vehicles, so you're probably fine. If you just want a Model 3, this would be kind of the comparison, depending on which one you get. You know, I think you'd be happy with any Model 3, really. The performance one, it's compared to the rear wheel drive long range. I don't know if you need, you know, if it's going to be that much greater to you coming in from a BMW. So, and you may miss some of the kind of creature comforts of the BMW 330. I don't know exactly what it has, but I mean, even my buddy who his wife just went from a Ford Fusion to a Model 3 misses a lot of the creature comforts. Like, for example, they had ventilated seats, you know, and things like that. So, you know, there's a lot of little things that Teslas really are lacking in that area. I think they're still fantastic, but it's one of those things where, you know, coming from a BMW, there are probably a lot of little things that you'll notice, but overall your driving experience is going to be vastly different, and I would argue better. So there you go. Hope that helps you. Rich asks, is the Model Y going to be like the 3, a cheaper SUV? Yes, that is the idea. Kenneth Jones asks, did your test drive have the red brake calipers and 20-inch wheels? Yes, it did. Jason asks, what's the horsepower on dual motor non-performance? I don't know. I believe Tesla has, if you go onto just the Tesla website now and go to Model 3 and scroll down, I think there's a section there where they list all that. I don't know if they put horsepower on there yet. So if not, then you might be able to calculate it. But the best guess is probably just to take it on a dyno. I think the rear wheel drive, like the one I have, is I think 271, and maybe 307 for the pound-feet of torque. I forget exactly. So, hey, Bobby, thanks for the $5. When do you think standard battery will be available for the Model 3? I'm hoping for later this year. I am really hoping that the standard battery is an option coming into Q4. And I'm hoping for that, because if you can get this car even at 220 miles top range, basic, you know, but everything, and I don't know about the interior, maybe it won't be as nice, or I know it won't be as nice, but still I'm sure it'll be fine. If you can get this car for $35,000, and then, like, if you're in California, you get a $2,500 rebate plus the $7,500 federal. Man, that is a that is a steal. I think this car is a good value at around $50,000. I think at 65, 70, 80,000, it's getting a little bit ahead of its skis, as you might say. But I think the any cheaper that you can get it is going to be just a fantastic value, because this is a great car. I think it's great. The question is whether or not it's worth that, like, $80,000 price tag, which you can kind of spec it up to now. So, yeah, thanks for the super chat, and hope that helps you. Hey Sam, thanks for the super chat. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. I'll keep watching here. AZ Wildcat 13, Ben, used Model S or used Model 3? I think it depends on the price and your situation. I think the Model S is a better car. I don't think I think it's pretty objective. There may be a few things that the Model S is better on the Model S, but it kind of really just comes down to your situation. If you need a smaller vehicle, if you live in a place, more urban area, if you're a Wildcat, maybe you're down in Tucson. I don't know. I've only been down there a few times, but anyways, yeah, you know, Model S is going to serve you better. Like, the hatchback is probably the biggest complaint on this car versus the Model S. That just makes the Model S so functional, so incredibly functional. And this one, that's definitely a challenge. So, yeah, you know, I think it comes down to your situation. My situation, I would probably go with used Model S. There you go. Let's see. Victor Garcia Perez. Sorry, English, I'm learning. Hey, ¿todo bien? Estoy aprendiendo también. Entonces, sí. Hablamos malas pocas veces. I hope that helps. Let's see. Have you seen the Volvo Polestar? It's supposed to compete with the Model 3. No, I have not. Is it an electric car? I would love to see it if it is. I mean, I'm all in on electric, right? So I don't want to see a car that's not electric. Other than that, um, so Victor, you're asking about the horsepower, kilowatt battery powered Model 3 Performance app. So it should have the same 75 kilowatt hour battery. Horsepower is going to be greater. We don't know, or I haven't figured that out or seen it yet. And the how much PS? I don't know what you mean by that. Maybe that's the torque. The torque should be greater as well. So there you go. Do you think the Taycan will compete with the Model S? I do. I actually think that car looks sick. I would love to take that for a spin. This is the thing, right? Like, I love Tesla because they are the ones that are forcing the industry to change. I'm totally open to Porsche or BMW or Mercedes or even Jaguar with the I-Pace. I'm all for it. Bring it on. Like, let's see all of the best cars in the world become electric. I think that would be fantastic, because when that happens, then everybody that drives a Volkswagen Jetta or a Prius or something is going to want to get one of those. And so I think, like, you have to kind of start with the sizzle and get people's attention and that product lust that people have, especially in our consumerist society. I think that's what I love about Tesla. But I am all for these other brands coming in with legit contenders, and obviously they know how to make cars. So it's just a matter of whether or not they have the will to do it. So yeah, we'll see. I would love to drive a Taycan. So gracias, Victor. Let's take a look. Tell them the safest Tesla is the safest car on the road. It's true. It is. The Tesla is the safest car. I don't know if there's like safe. I mean, geez, like, it's one of those things, right? Like, it's like a 0 to 60. If you're in a sub 3 second 0 to 60, and no, you're not gonna be able to tell me the difference between a 2.3 and a 2.4 second 0 to 60. You're just not, right? You're sub 3. You're fast as hell. So the safest car, yeah. Like, if you get 5-star ratings in every category, great. Is there one that's maybe safer than the other one? Depends on the situation, right? We just had a rollover with the Model 3. The car did exceedingly well. I was shocked by those photos. So go check that out. I think that was a great thing. So, Shyless Darkley. It's a great name. I think it's worthwhile to rent a Model 3 on Turo to get an idea, or should I wait? I totally would. You can use my referral code and get $25 off your first ride. So there you go. It's at teslanomics.co/Turo. I'm a big fan. And they don't sponsor, this isn't sponsored by them or anything like that. That's just my referral code as a Turo customer. So I use it all the time. So Mark asks, Ben, check out the aftermarket spoiler by RPM. It looks more like the Model S spoiler. I also wrapped mine in satin black. Are you talking about on the back? Because I'm very keen on getting a spoiler for this car in the back. But I don't know the guys at RPM at all. So yeah, maybe I'll have a look. I usually work with the guys at Unplugged Performance, and we have a real good relationship, so that's probably who I would go to. But I'll check it out. Yeah, because I think that'd be fun. Breakbox asks, would you recommend a Model 3 for a family with 2 little children, and has the trunk enough space even for a vacation? So I'm gonna say no, but my friend Kim and her family from the channel Like Tesla would probably disagree with me, because they have 2 small children and they went from a Model X to the Model 3. So, and they seem to make it work, and they go on road trips all the time. So maybe just go watch theirs and use that. With the Model S, I think it would be totally fine, and I think what it comes down to a lot of is the extra storage space you have in the Model S. The Model X would be ideal, but again, for me, I can't even open the doors an inch in my garage, and that just kills me. So yeah. There you go. Hope that helps. That was a good question. Rycons asks, would you buy the Taycan even without any autopilot? Yeah, totally. I don't really use autopilot. Let's see. When do you plan a trip to Europe for holiday? I don't know. I originally had planned on going to Spain for a month, but then we went on some other trips with our son, and it was just so hard traveling with him that we just kind of put it off. But yeah, we do, like, some places we really want to go and spend a extended period of time are Mexico City for one. That's probably the easiest and best option for us. And then we love Madrid as well. Those are probably the top two for us. There's maybe other towns and places in Spain or Mexico, but those are our top two where we could actually like live and work and not just be tourists on vacation. So yeah, there you go. Off topic. Mark Benton, yes, on the back. It would look great. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that someday soon. Clipsy asks, don't you think a power trunk is needed in a car in that price range? Yes! Yes! Thank you for asking. Let me just say this, I was shocked by how many people were upset about the trunk smashing fruit video. Because that was just a dumb video, and people were so offended that I said anything negative about the Model 3. That was the dumbest idea ever. It is a thing. Like, if you have a Model 3, the trunk is not the easiest thing to deal with. It's hard to close, and it forces you to grab it on top, and then even then, it doesn't always close. I mean, the first time I had one, I left the trunk open all night with like thousands and thousands of dollars of camera gear in there at an Airbnb I was staying at. Because I thought it was totally closed, but it does not close very easily. I think even my very first drive video, I had that same issue. I was like, oh, this sucks. This is a problem. And I have seen a video, someone replaced the trunk lifts, whatever those like hydraulic things that hold it up are, and to make it easier. So that's honestly something I may do because it sucks. It's definitely not an easy thing. So yeah. Thank you for asking that question. AZ Wildcat, Ben, would you ever work for Tesla if they prompted you? If you were prompted, would you tell us? I was prompted, and I said no very quickly. In two reasons. I love what I do, and I could not do it if I had a relationship with them. So people maybe are confused about this. I do have contacts at Tesla. So whenever I have questions, like when I did that depreciation video, or the phantom drain video, and I saw a bunch of data that was like, whoa, this could be bad news for the company, right? Like I because of the access I have to certain things, whenever I come up with something that I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to report on this because it's the right thing to do, but I also want to paint it in the correct picture, the full context. Are you aware of it? What are you doing to change it? Am I missing something? So I have contacts at Tesla that I do work with, but by no means do they endorse this channel. Do they support me in any way? Any of that stuff. And that's even apparent, as you saw, what people on the Wall Street Journal are getting invited to go drive the Performance Model 3 at Media Day, and I'm not, right? So it's one of those things like I get zero support directly from them, and I could not do this with any amount of credibility if I did get any preferential treatment or anything from them, right? The only thing that I get is when I have questions about stuff that may come out in a news story. I try to get clarification and context because I think that's important when you're telling a story. So that's the only kind of support I have. So they did ask me to work for them, or one of the teams asked me, not like specifically, but they said, hey, would you be interested? Not space and the data team side. And I just, no, absolutely not. I love what I do. I love helping advance, helping you guys figure out when is the right time for you to go electric, what car is even the right car for you. I think Teslas are great options, but obviously not everyone's situation allows for it. So there's all kinds of stuff. So I love what I do so much, and I couldn't do it if I worked for them. So that's why. Also, I've heard stories about Elon being kind of a crazy, and I've had enough of those in my life. There you go. Mark, I don't work for RPM. Yeah, okay, no worries. Let's see. When do you think Tesla will be able to produce 10,000 Model 3s per week? Great question. In a few years when they get a new factory. I don't see it happening at Fremont at all. No way. Unless they, I don't know, maybe they start building more tents or something. Just definitely not going to happen. Nicolas Tarzani asks, do you think the brakes on rear wheel model are enough for aggressive driving in a nice curvy road downhill? Sure. Yeah. They're great. They're probably not going to be as good in that situation as the performance ones, but I've actually driven this. There's a road in Southern California. You can look it up. The Ortega Highway. It's the 74. It goes from, I think, San Clemente, like the I-5. in near San Clemente or San Juan Capistrano over, I don't know what the other town is on the other side, over to the 15 freeway. And yeah, it's a really small, windy little road that's kind of crazy. And there, I was coming back one night from my family's, from my brother's place up in San Clemente, and we got stuck there was like a closure of the freeway, and so we had to take that little road, and it did fantastic. So yeah, I think it works great. Obviously, I think the performance one will do better, but for 99.99% of the time, you probably will notice zero difference in the braking between this car and the other one, just because of how you're driving it. Unless you're actually taking it to the track. If you're a track racer and you want to take it to the track, absolutely, that's what you want to get. For everyone else, it's unnecessary, but I get it if you want it anyways. Rich asks, is there free supercharging when you use a referral code good for life or the life of the car? So the free supercharging for the referral program is good for the life of the car. As long as you have that car, you and that car will get free supercharging. Now, I heard before that it was ending this last program, which was on the 15th. Then they extended it 2 weeks, which is really odd because usually when they extend it for a whole 3 months. So it's extended, I think, until the end of this month. And after that, I'm guessing it actually will change. I'm sure the referral program will still be around, but I doubt free supercharging is going to live on. So that's what I heard before, and then it sounded like maybe they didn't have everything in order yet, so they just extended it a couple of weeks, or maybe to line up with the months or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of where it's at. It's as long as you have the car, you and it get free supercharging. That's on the Model S and X, of course. All right. David Adams, if the Model Y is simply a bigger Model 3, would you consider it a good business move? Would it be better, in your opinion, to go in a different direction? I don't know if it'll... Yeah, I see, that's the thing, is like, the Model X is this wildly advanced vehicle. If you've never been in one and had it for a day or something, it's crazy how cool and how just insanely advanced every little detail is. Like one of the things is when you pop open the Falcon Wing doors, if nobody's sitting in them, the front seats will actually come up and forward in order to make it easier for people in the middle and back to get out. Stuff like that. It's crazy. It's so cool. So I think it could be watered down a ton and still be a fantastic vehicle. And in fact, I think most people would probably prefer what the Model Y is going to be compared to the Model X. I really do. So yeah, I think it'll be a good choice. I don't know what you mean from like a business standpoint, but yeah. All right. Caleb, do you own Tesla stock? I do not. I fundamentally do not believe in investing in an individual stock of a company. I invest in index funds, and I think I have some ETFs and mutual funds. Even though I try to stay away from those, I don't know if I have any left over. And then I do some crypto stuff for kind of the hard drugs. So there you go. Demir, this is a great question. Does the Performance Model 3 feel faster than a normal 100D? I don't know if I've driven a 100D lately. Man, that's a great question. I don't know. I guess I would have to look it up and see what they say. They both seem extremely fast to me. But there is definitely a big distinction, I would say, between the Performance Model 3 and the Model S P100D, which I've only driven once. So, that was that one experience. But it's incredible. So there you go. Brandon asks, what do you think about of Tesla's head of sales leaving? More fuel for the fake news? No, I think that's a concern. I don't really know. Tesla has a weird sales model. It's direct to consumer. They don't have, as far as I know, they don't have commissions on salespeople. So it's a different thing altogether. I don't know how I feel about it. I guess losing top tier folks isn't good, but also you have Elon, who is, his reputation of being a really overzealous kind of strong manager and leader that could rub other people the wrong way. I understand, like, I couldn't work for Elon, so I could understand why somebody would probably, why there's turnover there, especially like when you're at that position, right? Because you get the sense of entitlement maybe a little bit as like, hey, I'm a chief whatever of this thing at this big company. And then you have someone like Elon cut you down or tell and doing sleeping at the factory and stuff like that. And it's like, look, I'm not going to do that. So it's one of those things like I could probably see it. Something's going on here. I could probably see how Elon probably rubs a lot of top management the wrong way, and that's my hunch as to maybe why they're leaving. No, it's not cut. It's not for everyone. It's how it is. But that's how it goes. So yeah. Charles asks, I'm going to take maybe just a couple more minutes here, guys, and then I'm going to head back. Traffic is terrible, and so yeah, that's bad. Here we go. Do you think the SpaceX package will be street legal in the Roadster? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, it'll be a street legal car. Whether or not you're allowed to use that on the streets is a different thing altogether. I don't know. Like maybe could like blow somebody over standing next to it. I don't know, man. Yeah, it's a tough thing. Caleb asks, which Tesla is your favorite? Roadster, next gen. That's probably my favorite. How much different will the single motor Model 3 perform in snow than the dual motor? It's a good question. I'm not really sure, but my friends Zach and Jesse over at the channel, Now You Know, when they got their Model 3, they had the last Christmas, was it? They did a thing. It was like the 12 days of Model 3 leading up to Christmas or something. And so they did a bunch of stuff with it in the snow. They seemed to think it was doing great. So, or if I recall, so you can go check out their videos. That's probably good. More or less cost per month recharging your Model 3 from Viti Suarez. Go to my website, Teslanomics.co. I have a calculator there that shows you that. I believe Tesla probably has one as well. For me, I think it comes down to like $30 a month or something crazy, but I don't drive a lot. So you got to take that into account as well. So there you go. Mark Benton. Ben, I assume you've seen the Jetapad. What a great product for the Model 3. Are you just plugging products, Mark? Is that what's going on? You come in here, you come to my comment section just to plug products, because I know your name and I'll call them out. Come on, man, come on. No, yes, I've seen it. I think Eric got one and did a review. I think I've got one coming. I don't know. So you'll probably be seeing that sometime soon on the channel. I think that's cool. And then I just saw something on not the Next Web, The Verge or something like that someone else was making. It was like, this all this big thing, and a lot of us were like, yeah, old news. I think the guy, I forget his name, he has a channel, I1 Tesla or something like that. Forget, but he has a Model 3. He did a cool thing where he put an iPad in the back of the lid that closes the over the cell phone. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't know. All that stuff, like I'm actually fine plugging my phone into the little charge port. I think it'd be cool to do wireless charging, but I actually have a thing on the back of my phone that's like it's not a pop socket, but it's like a pop. I think that disables wireless charging because there's such a big fat gap. So I don't know if like how well it'll work in what most people's situations like. I think it's a hard thing. I actually like that again is one other barrier I have to pulling my phone out and looking at it when I'm driving. So like when I drive, I have the lid closed, I have it plugged in. I like that. I do think that the wireless pad idea is a great idea. So when I get the Jetapad or whatever, I'll obviously share that with you guys and do a review. I think a lot of people will like it. I don't know if it's right for me, but it'll be cool to see it and kind of see what's going on with it. So there you go. And yeah, let me know what other products you want me to plug, Mark. All right, let's see what else we got. Should I get a Tesla Model S or Model 3? Tough choice. I posted a video on it explaining kind of my thoughts and the differences, so go check that out. Is there a possibility for a roof box or any plans on this? Yes, there is a tear sucker or something it's called. It's like giant suction cups that you can put stuff on. And I heard a rumor that Tesla is going to be offering one very soon, because there are spots for it. But I heard that Tesla's going to like officially unveil that sometime soon. So we'll see. I don't know if that's true or not, but there'll be something for sure. Any word if Tesla will allow Apple CarPlay? I doubt it. I don't think that'll ever happen. Tesla definitely wants you to like use their operating system, which I'm not super in love with. I do think Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are kind of substandard compared to the model. What's built in here. I am like praying for this, that one day soon, hopefully, we have an actual app store for the Model 3 or for all Teslas. So that way you could have native Waze, you could have Spotify, you could have Pandora, you could have whatever other kind of apps, built in. And because they would have an app platform, I think, honestly, I think like if they delayed some of the other physical things they're making and they did that might be a better play for them, because that could balloon to being a giant revenue maker for them. And benefit all of us. Like we'd be getting, like they'd be farming out the advancement of their vehicles. It's just amazing. I really am just dying to hear about an app platform, like an app store for Teslas. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you go into a Model S and Model X, you go to settings, there is a section called apps, and it has, I think, navigation and browser or something like that. So there are like this ecosystem. It's like the idea is there. It's just not ready yet. So there you have it. Okay, I'm gonna do one more question. Been going for a while now, and let's see what else. Spotify in America, Tesla, please. Yes. Mark, thanks for the comments. Yeah, and I appreciate, you're always there supporting. So that's it. Caleb asks, how often do you live stream? Every Monday I do a news show. Today was just this like random, I just got done Performance Model 3, so I thought, there you go. If you could choose between a black and red Model 3 now, which color would you pick? Personally, I like the black. I think it's just sexy and beautiful and elegant. It's just great. My son, however, would love a red one, and so I might be biased into getting a red one just for him. Yeah, we'll see. Team Black. All right, yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you all for joining me. I hope this was somewhat helpful to you. They wouldn't let me actually film during the thing. That's like just their corporate policy. So I didn't get a chance to actually film the car. But these deliveries to folks should be happening soon. So if you're in the San Diego area and you have one, I would love to actually do some videos with it and do some side-by-side comparisons to give people a better sense of like whether or not that value is there. I'm still undecided as to whether or not it's worth it for me. But I'm in a different situation as well than most people are. So we'll try to figure that out. I'm definitely going to do something, a review and a side-by-side comparison someday. Just a matter of when. So if you know anyone in San Diego, or if you have one in San Diego, have the performance one on Twitter, my DMs are open. Let me know, and we can make it happen. So cool. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys here next time. Peace.